Before the first human will set their foot on surface of Mars, we would definitely need to deploy a considerable amount of unmanned assets, satellites and probes to help our colonists navigate, map and build on Mars. So if you look what's in orbit around Earth, we can use the same type of satellites to assist with the technology needs on Mars. On the synchronous orbit high above Mars, we can place some communication satellites and meteorology ones, the same type we use in geosynchronous orbit around Earth, and we don't need a lot of them. Those would be handy for the early attempts when we need some communications delay with Earth and other orbital assets and some weather forecasting on Mars. We want to know when there will be next dust storm, for example. The second and one of the most important one is a global navigation system for Martian explorers and colonists. As you may know, there is no magnetic field on Mars, so a compass wouldn't work. So you need an equivalent of GPS in orbit around Mars before the first team, get lost in the desert. So they would need some navigation means. That would be medium Martian orbit, about 10,000 kilometers around Mars, similar to GPS constellation on Earth. As we get more people and we will have more communication and other needs that would require connectivity, we would also benefit from satellite internet, similar to Starlink. That would require hundreds of satellites, unlike say GPS equivalent, which can do with 24, maybe even thousands. But that would give our every explorer an equivalent of Starlink internet connectivity on Mars. And when we do our initial reconnaissance, we would need some geological and mineralogical understanding. Where do we set our colonies? Where do we build our mines? And where do we search for things like uranium or other ores? That can be done with very low satellites that will skim the Martian atmosphere, and plenty of other, probes, landers and rovers that we already placed on Mars can be replicated as a fleet of explorers that would search interesting points on the surface on Mars. We would need more than one, but we'll definitely don't need 100 of them during the first stages, but we need some of them. So that would be unmanned assets that has to be moved in before we place the first manned crew on the surface of Mars, on the surface of Mars. That would be the unmanned assets that we need to place in orbit and on surface on Mars before we send there the first human crew.